I'm Dr. Joseph DeStefano, Urgent Care 24/7, here to chat with you about vitamin D. So, vitamin D, let's talk about all the things it impacts. Through its action as a prohormone, it impacts your sex hormones, it impacts your insulin resistance. If your vitamin D is low, it makes you more insulin resistant, you make more insulin, you get hungrier, you gain weight, that diffuses your vitamin D gets worse. You can kind of imagine how this proceeds from there. Vitamin D fine-tunes your immune system. It's what we would call more of an immunomodulator. So if you do not have enough vitamin D, you have a problem keeping your immune system. Vitamin D is an immune modulator. It keeps your immune system in the lines on the road. Keeps your immune system fighting what it should fight, not fighting what it shouldn't fight. So this is where vitamin D deficiency gets interesting. Low vitamin D is associated with increased incidences of different autoimmune diseases. And then you get into the whole causation versus correlation argument. But one way you solve that argument is taking out compounding factors and seeing that when you control for compounding factors, vitamin D deficiency is still a major contributor. So people with low vitamin D have higher incidences of rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis. Also, low vitamin D increases your chance of different cancers: prostate cancer, breast, colon. In oncology, many of the protocols now depend on the oncologist making sure the vitamin D levels are healthy being 60 to 80, so that the body's own immune system help fight the cancer. Of course, vitamin D is a huge issue in COVID-19 and bacterial respiratory infections and other viral respiratory infections. Vitamin D deficient individuals have worse courses with influenza, with COVID-19, with any number of respiratory infections. Vitamin D deficiency worsens asthma. There are correlations that when people have low vitamin D levels, their asthma is much more active. Personally, when my vitamin D level was diagnosed and was corrected, my asthma improved dramatically. So vitamin D is very important. The medical industrial complex has taken the view that, well, just everyone take a supplement. Everyone take 1,000 international units a day, and everybody will have a healthy level. No reasons to check levels, etc. This, frankly, makes no sense. A vitamin D level is inexpensive to run. The best test is your store of vitamin D, which is your 25-hydroxy vitamin D. We can do that test very affordably at Urgent Care 24/7. It is part of our primary health care plan. And you really just can't tell how much vitamin D level you need without checking it. For example, someone who has very olive skin, such as myself, I need, even during good sun exposure, 10,000 units 3 times a week to maintain a vitamin D level of about 60. Somebody very fair may be okay, and if they're getting enough sunlight, may be okay with 1,000 units a day. And then there's this whole issue. If you have very fair skin, you have an increased risk for melanoma and skin cancer. So can you really tell somebody, oh, just go take 1,000 units of vitamin D a day and go get sunlight? Well, not really when you're thinking about the whole patient. Now, I know some individuals are more comfortable with, all right, what natural foods can I eat to get vitamin D? Free range chickens, but you have to eat the egg yolks. Free range, cage free, because if the chicken isn't out in the sun, they're not making vitamin D, they're not putting it into their egg yolks. Plus, for a whole host of reasons, free range chickens are better in a holistic fashion. Cold water fish, packed in oil. So tuna fish, salmon, those are good sources of vitamin D. Interestingly enough, mushrooms. I tell people that if you struggle with vitamin D, eat mushrooms literally on everything. Mushrooms are a very good source of dietary vitamin D. The other reason I encourage levels to be checked about 3 times a year is because your vitamin D requirement, dietary or supplement, will change on how much sun you're getting, at what latitude, during what time of the year. There are GI absorption at play here. So somebody may have some type of malabsorption syndrome that makes it harder for them to absorb vitamin D. Thus, they'll need a higher level of supplementation to maintain a healthy vitamin D level. Vitamin D is extremely important to health. Autoimmune, cancer prevention, survival of COVID-19. Harvard has done studies, multiple centers have done studies now, that your vitamin D level alone can predict your mortality from COVID-19. You can look up the studies and read them. Recently, a noted epidemiologist has done a talk on this, and he studied all the cases that came through his hospital, and a vitamin D level of 60 or better gives you the best survival for COVID-19. My take-home message for this is one of the best single things you can do is know your vitamin D level. Thank you for having this chat with us today. This is Dr. Joe DeStefano, Urgent Care 24/7. Life is 24/7, and so are we.